Everybody stretch.
Welcome to the RIOT podcast.
Okay, do you think it would be fair to say that I stretch more than most people? I feel like I stretch a lot.
You know, it's not fair for me to say because I'm around you more in the morning, like during stretching time.
Right.
But I haven't had a chance to experience, like, maybe that is more or maybe it's just average compared to everybody else.
If I sit still for a while, I have to stretch.
Well,
so, like, let's say we go out to eat. I got to stretch when I stand up. I got to whatever. And I was chastised this weekend. I have been trying to, in the studio, I'm not quiet because when I stretch, I like to scream while I stretch.
And we have the soundproofing. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It doesn't bother anybody. It's fine.
But you know what? I'll just give you some intimate details into my life. I went to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I stood up, and when church was over, massive stretch, but I didn't do my yelling.
Sure.
Even though I could totally do my yelling.
But you kept it quiet.
Yeah, and I was told to well, you're making it seem like it was really boring. Like when you get them stretched like that, I'm just like, you know what?
It's your body.
I can't help it. I'm going to go up there and talk to the lady that spoke today and be like, I'm not bored. I just apparently stretch a lot.
I'm sorry. That's just how your muscles, your body just must be like it.
I don't know. So, it's probably a condition. We'll look it up.
You know what you need? What is that thing? The foam roller?
One.
You need to roll and stretch more.
Do you think maybe I need one in the studio?
Well, maybe like from your workouts and stuff. It could be you're just naturally need to stretch out more.
I will say that I have a foam roller, but I haven't been using it because I'm too lazy. All right.
Well, in this podcast, which hopefully you will enjoy today.
And hopefully, you know what? I just want you to know during the podcast, you stretch as much as you want. Don't you worry
Doesn't
about
bother
it.
us.
It's
We
fine.
won't know.
A lot of talk today about Christmas in July because it is July 25th. We talk about a Snowpiercer TV show, an all-female wrestling pay-per-view, horror movie tourism, crustaceans, Taco Bells, mob fan theories about Home Alone, goat farms that are hiring, and the job I should have had before someone ruined it for everybody.
It involves napping. So,
oh, man.
Which
this
also
job
brings us back to stretching, and we're back to the beginning.
It's not wrong. So, hey, enjoy the podcast today. Thanks for stopping by.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Dear RadioU, when I was a kid, my parents sent our dog to live on a farm in the country where he could run and play all day. I could ask them for the address if you need somewhere to send the riot. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Today, Nikki.
Yes.
Today is Christmas in July.
Apparently, since it's July 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So our
That's
Christmas in July channel only goes through the end of this month. So through the beginning of next week, you have a chance to hear our RadioU Christmas songs. We hosted a special Christmas in July channel, and that's at RadioU.com, our app, and our Roku channel.
It is customary to give gifts to your favorite morning show hosts during Christmas in July. So just want you to know that Nikki and I are here and available for gift receiving.
'Tis the holidays.
It certainly is.
You're like, Nana, normally December is so stressful with having to give gifts, and then you throw in July on top of that.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you need a little mid-season gift giving to get your way through, you know?
And I am an actual fan of, even if you're just exchanging gift cards and you break even, like here I give you 30 and you give me 30, so no one really spends any money.
Sure.
But the act of the gift-to-giving gift card thing is fun.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that Christmas in July started. Most people think that it's a Southern Hemisphere thing, but it's actually not. The first recorded Christmas in July celebration took place in 1933 at a girls' camp called Keystone Camp in Brevard, North Carolina. It was there that campers were treated to just this idea of, hey, we're doing a Christmas thing right in the middle of camp. Whee!
Yay!
And there's even I'm looking at what I think is a photo of it. So they had their Christmas in July, and then, of course, it began to grow. And then when the capitalist pigs got their hands on it.
And RadioU, and we just made it flourish.
So they said their first Christmas in July included carolers, a Christmas tree. Santa Claus came, fake snow made of cotton. Ooh, they had presidents. And let's see, they made stockings out of laundry bags.
Oh, boy.
Boy, they really lived it up. Hey,
well,
you know
that was
what?
back then. I mean, that might have been big stuff.
They didn't have Hallmark's Christmas in July back at camp whatever in Brevard, North Carolina, Nikki. They had to make do with what they had.
What they had in that. So they had laundry bags.
But if it wasn't for these young ladies, you wouldn't be watching Christmas movies on Hallmark right now.
You wouldn't be enjoying Christmas in July.
Mm-hmm. So who you thinking now? The RadioU Christmas channel owes a great debt to some backwater camping institution in North Carolina, right? And thank you, ladies, for all that you did.
Because now we can celebrate.
The Christmas in July channel is possible because of you doing what you did.
When life is this good, you don't need a vacation. So, get back to work. It's The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, it's time for news that appeals to Nikki. It's a new segment that I just made up that really needs its own theme song, even though it doesn't have one.
Well, it's just a work in progress.
News for Nikki. Whee!
It works.
No, I don't like that. News for Nikki.
No, I don't like that one.
No, news for Nikki.
Aww.
Because if anything has been proven on this show is if it's something it's about girls, then Nikki likes it because she's a girl.
Apparently.
Because the logic always follows, they're a girl, you're a girl, you like it.
Must be something I'm going to like.
Anytime that happens, I feel like men are still controlling the programming decisions. Hey, look, girls, you're girls, you like it. That's the thing.
Well, I'll hold my opinion until I hear what it is. Because I might actually like it.
Well, in this case, it may be a misreading, Nikki. The WWE has announced its first ever all-women wrestler pay-per-view event for October. Made this announcement Monday night during Raw. It's going to be called Evolution. And Stephanie McMahon made the announcement. Now, I was kind of poking fun at it, but one thing that a lot of people have been saying is that Stephanie McMahon in the WWE actually has done a lot to take female wrestlers from like, oh, yeah.
To actual
female wrestler.
Being a part of the event in a real way.
Yeah, she's the reason why they are no longer referred to as divas. The divas division is now the women's division that you can thank Stephanie McMahon for.
Very nice. So I have not watched wrestling in a while. So at first I was like, well, is it going to be like you were talking about?
It's an all-women's wrestling event. All like, wrestling, all mud.
That I think is lame. But if you're saying it'll be an actual step up in quality and content, well then great, that's perfectly wonderful.
I mean, in fairness, they could have made
still
this
wrestling, but
an all aliens event or something. Like, I mean, I'm not going to watch the WWE pay-per-view that's happening in October, but
it's nice that women get a chance to be featured.
I think it's cool.
That can be sometimes the problem. We're not featured as much, or we're featured early on in the evening, and then throughout the rest of the event in some non-mature or grown-up ways.
It's a very, well, I'll tell you what, it's going to feature the first all-women Royal Rumble. And I guess, no, that's already happened. I'm sorry. I'm misreading that. That's one of the things that Stephanie McMahon did was she's hosted that. So the reaction from fans has been mixed. Like, some people are like, hey, great, whatever. And other people are like, man, this is so stupid because girls.
Great, that's
somebody like girls in the clubhouse.
Nice.
Dang it.
Come on, guys.
I don't know. But that's the thing. You know what, Nikki? We could still sign up for a free month of the WWE app.
In case I want to make sure to watch that.
I mean, we'll want to wait until October, of course. But
you know, I never grew up with wrestling, never really caught on to it. So I'm going to pass. But that's great if they do it in, again, a nice way, a respectful way. That's the word I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
I don't believe there will be any winking at the camera here. This is a straightforward wrestling event featuring women. So other people are saying that this is an answer to the fact that you may recall they did a pay-per-view event in Saudi Arabia in which women were not allowed.
Yes, I remember. So that's the news of that one.
Other people are saying that this is a reaction to that. I don't know. You know what people say? That anyone can say. You can go on the internet and be part of people say. So whatever. It's happening in October. The Riot might watch it because they're a girl. Nikki's a girl.
Yesterday. Thank you.
I'm not so much mad about what they say. I'm mad that they think any of us want to hear it. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
So we found out, how many weeks ago was it? I guess it's been almost 2 weeks ago that we had a Friday the 13th in July.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is really a holiday-packed July. Friday the 13th in July, Christmas in July, there's a lot happening. But Nikki and I were amazed in that we were reading about the town where the original Friday the 13th movie was filmed. They have like a Friday the 13th extravaganza weekend.
So, like, they get a lot of tourism during that time.
And so one one of the things they were doing is you could take a 3-hour bus tour. It was $150 to take a 3-hour bus tour where stars from the film would show up in costume and take you on tours of the locations where the movie had been filmed.
And once you're on the tour, that's it. You've got to go through the whole thing.
And wouldn't you? I would love to know how many people showed up for that.
I don't know. That must be a big tourism thing.
Is it?
If you're bored enough and you're in the area or around the area.
But that's different than it being a big tourist grab,
but
you know?
If the town is small enough, even if 50 people come, they're like, well, that's really good.
Hey, this is something, right?
Yeah, we had something.
We sold more cookies and coffee than we've sold in like a month.
Because maybe it's quiet the rest of the year.
Okay, all right. So, tourism built around old, iconic horror things. And Friday the 13th was 1980, I think, 81, something like. It's old. How about this? A little newer, but still old. 1996, Scream, the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. That movie opens up with, no, this is a different house. But that movie ends with everybody being in this house where they're having like a house party and people are, getting picked off by the bad guys because that's the way these movies work.
Please tell me we can stay in the house.
Yeah. Well, no, you can't.
Okay.
But
okay.
During October, you can take a tour.
Oh, why do they think they want a tour?
Would you like to take a tour? And
no,
I
do not like tours.
It has props from the movie in there.
Yeah, no thanks.
No? Okay. All right. Now,
where is that at, though? I don't even remember.
It's in California in Tamales.
Okay.
You wouldn't dare call that tamales, would you? Tomales? I don't know. It's in California.
I'm going to let you be wrong with it.
All right. So this would be Stu's house in the movie. Now, based on what you and I just talked about, learning that horror film tourism is a thing, what would you pay?
For a tour?
Wait, that's the wrong question. That's the wrong question.
What are they asking people to pay?
What are they asking people to pay?
So wait, tell me, how long is the tour of this house from Scream that they'll be doing in October?
I don't know.
But you're not spending the night.
No, you're not spending the night.
Okay, so I'm taking...
Nope. Yes. Okay, I've got two levels. I was wrong. There's the tour level, and then there's the yes, you can spend the night option, which is more expensive.
So for the tour level per person, I'm going to say $29.99. That's all I'd pay, just take a quick tour.
Yeah.
It's a tour.
Okay, that's great.
You're only going to the house.
Okay.
What else do they expect?
They say that the tour recreates the film's chilling final party scene where high school students meet grisly ends all over the property. So I don't know if maybe it's like,
are they throwing a party?
Kind of like a haunted house? I actually don't know that.
And then for to spend the night, I would think maybe $149.99. They're always just like, just say it's $150. It's sure. $149.
I'd like to bring you in to consult for them because the tour part, $200. That's per person.
Part? Yeah. Oh, please.
That's per person.
Per person?
Mm-hmm. But remember, they're recreating the first film's chilling final party scene.
Maybe we're just really off on what they're doing. But what about to spend the night?
Oh, man. You're going to love
400?
this.
500. 600.
I can't let it off the lot at that price.
$1,000? Is it one night and do you get food?
I assume there's food.
Is it higher than that? I don't want to go higher than that.
It is $1,000.
No.
$700.
No, it's not.
And $50.
To spend the night?
To spend the night.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you were a fan and you had a lot of money.
Guess what?
And you had no other fiscal responsibilities.
They're already sold out.
They probably only have so many spots.
You can't spend the night anymore because all the slots are taken.
I don't know. I don't understand.
Also, the guy that does the voice of the ghost mask people or whatever.
In Scream?
You can get a phone call from him for $125.
I'm sure there's an app where I could already get a phone call from him.
I don't know the answer to that.
From a voice that sounds a lot like him.
I'm just telling you, Nikki, that no matter what you want to spend your money on, somebody is out there willing to take it.
Someone is willing to spend more money than you think would be even worth it.
Man, so the question to me becomes, what movie set would I pay $200 to visit?
Nothing.
And the answer is the Enterprise. That's all I have.
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
Chief, she's...
Coffee and contemplation.
And the riot. Obviously. Radio U.
I don't know if you heard about what's happening at the Ohio State Fair. It opens today and runs through August something. Let me double check on this. August 5th. Yesterday, they unveiled the butter sculptures this year.
A tradition?
Mm-hmm. And the butter sculptures at the Ohio State Fair are themed after a Christmas story.
Hey, for July. Why not?
Even more Christmas in July. Look at that. So they've got Ralphie in the bunny suit.
Yeah.
And then they also have, what's the guy's name? Flick that gets his tongue stuck to the pole.
I already told you, I don't like that movie. That's not my thing. I don't even know. I don't know the characters.
Don't
I
act
don't
like
remember.
You've never seen it.
I don't think I've seen it the whole way through.
The guy that gets his tongue stuck to the pole?
That's the only part I've seen.
Okay, well, you know what? The good news, Nikki, is that's the part that they're immortalizing in butter.
I just don't like that movie. I don't understand why, but it just did not connect. And even if I see it in butter, even if it's an Irish gold butter, I don't care.
I'll tell you what. I don't believe you, and I'll tell you why. If I handed you a piece of warm toast and I let you take that toast and rub it all over Flick and then eat it, you would be like, this is my favorite movie I've ever seen.
I love it. I want to see it over and over and over again.
It is so great, and I'm so into this right now.
The question is, for a butter sculpture, I've never made one. Do you use a high-quality butter, or is that one where you can really go, low quality since it's just a sculpture, or what happens to it?
I'm looking here. I don't know.
Is it a mixture of butter with something else?
I don't think so. I think it's straight butter. They say that it took 400 hours in a 46-degree cooler to create these works of art.
Doesn't that sound nice?
Mm-hmm. Also featured in that, they've got, let's see, the guy in his snowsuit, the iconic leg lamp is also there. And, they say the Christmas tree is butter. So it's a butter Christmas tree, but it has real Christmas lights on it. So that's something.
Wow.
Your Christmas lights. Hey, listen, Nikki, this is a state fair tradition.
Yeah.
And I think you should be a little nicer about it.
Sure.
Because butter sculpting is a part of life. It's important.
Is it?
Even though you don't like A Christmas Story. This, of course, has a special tie-in for the Ohio State Fair because A Christmas Story, parts of it, the exteriors of the house were filmed in Cleveland, Ohio. And in Cleveland, I happened to be in Cleveland, Ohio last December when they were doing the Christmas Story Marathon. And that is...
An actual running marathon, or like they're playing the movie over and over again?
No. Maybe it's not a marathon. Maybe it's like a 5K or a 10K. But I can tell you right now...
They do a run?
Yes, and people are so dressed up for that. I was walking through downtown Cleveland on a Saturday morning drinking coffee, and it was like, why are all these people dressed up as these pink bunnies? What's going on? And
where did I land? What's wrong with me?
I grabbed my coffee and followed these people down, and it was a huge race. They were showing A Christmas Story, the movie, on a massive screen right there in downtown Cleveland. It was really something. So the Christmas Story people, it's for some people, Nikki, it's real.
And I know in Cleveland, it's also just a source of pride.
Yeah, because you can go see the house.
The house is there and all that stuff.
Visit the museum.
Yeah, take a tour.
How much is this tour going to cost you?
We actually know it's a pretty good amount of money.
See previous discussions.
The Riot was this close from becoming the absolute worst morning show in radio. Yep, they can't even win at losing. It's the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
Did you ever see that movie from the South Korean guy, Bong Joon-ho, Snowpiercer, that everyone talked about?
Well, the train one?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
You watched it?
Yeah. I think I did.
Because it had Chris Evans, the Captain America guy.
Yes.
And a few other people who, you recognize, but you don't know.
Did it have Tilda, the one person from Doctor Strange?
Maybe. Tilda Swinton? Is that her name?
The one person? Maybe?
Maybe.
Gosh, it's been a while.
Could it be?
I think it was just fine. Obviously, I remember so much from it, and it was life impacting and changing.
Everybody talks about it. Oh, yeah, Snowpiercer.
No, it was not as good as everybody talks about.
Are you sure?
But it wasn't as bad.
Did you not have the eyes for it?
Probably not.
Perhaps, Nikki, you didn't appreciate the post-apocalyptic fiction and the class struggle that was being detailed so clearly there on screen.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, Snowpiercer, which again, I keep hearing people talk about in, these reverent tones, is getting a TV series, and it's been picked up. It's happening. Here in the United States, you're going to have to watch it on TNT.
Yes.
Ooh.
Is anything else still on TNT?
I don't know.
Goodness.
I'll have to see. Do I have TNT now?
Maybe. I
Maybe
think
I
it just
do.
comes with it.
All right, so there's that. But here's the thing that gets me that I think is really interesting. Outside the United States,
This has happened before. Netflix is taking it.
It's Netflix.
Isn't that weird?
everywhere but in the United States.
what's the other
that show will
show?
be on Netflix.
There's another show recently that was a big name one it's the same way. Here you have it at some weird other network that's not even, I think, on cable or broadcast. But then, Netflix takes it internationally.
Star Trek Discovery.
That's the one.
Yeah, they wanted
It
you to
wasn't a
pay,
big
what was
show.
it, 8 or, well, sure, but I mean, Star Trek, whether you like it or not, does have cachet. Like there are people out there that are willing to pay for a Star Trek product.
Do you feel, though, that Star Trek was not big enough for an international audience, and that's why Netflix got the rights for that?
No,
compared to having its own or its own CBS stuff?
As I understand, CBS did not have the infrastructure to
do a worldwide
distribute it internationally. They also said, obviously we're on a different topic here, but one of the things that CBS said is that they are trying to invest long-term in CBS All Access. They said they would have made more money selling that show to Netflix than if they would have just, how they put it on their own streaming platform. So,
well, Snowpiercer, yes. Is how many episodes? No, they haven't said yet, but
you've said.
It'll be TNT in the United States 2019, and Netflix will carry the show outside America and in China.
Mm-hmm. So on the show will be Jennifer Connelly, who's someone you might recognize. Daveed Diggs, I'm not sure who that is. Allison Wright, that's somebody that you'll recognize. And then a lot of other people who, to be honest, their names I don't know.
Don't even ring a bell, but I'm sure maybe some you'll notice.
I don't know. I'm curious. As someone who hasn't seen the film, maybe I'll watch the TV show. Isn't that what you do? You read the book, see the show, watch the movie? I don't know.
Let's see. In this article, it talks about the pilot's original director would not return for reshoots. And apparently the new showrunner, there's a different version of the original showrunner, so it might have a bit of a different feel. So if you did like Snowpiercer, it may or may not work for you. We'll see.
I don't know how that movie worked, but they got to keep it on the air still. So if at the end of Snowpiercer, the snow was pierced and that was all, in the TV show, they're going to have to continue to work on the piercing.
Something's going to have to still happen. There still has to be conflict.
One of the only things left that isn't owned by Disney. The Riot on RadioU.
How do you take Taco Bell and make it even more objectionable?
I don't know. Like, I like lobster and I like crab legs, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know why crayfish just never seems to be something that I think I would like.
It's not for you.
It's not for me, but I don't even know if I've ever really had it. Like, I've seen people just take those little guys and they're just eating them and they're sucking on them and, like, it's gross. Ugh. But people like crayfish.
Yeah, I'm sure people do. Nikki, people like a lot of things.
And if you like crayfish and that seems to be your thing, you might like this, but it's Taco Bell in Asia.
Yeah, it's not coming here yet. But remember, anytime they're testing something in another market, there's a chance. Though I feel like this would not take off in the United States.
Well, this is more specific because of the traditional Chinese spices that are going. It's like a 13 spices flavor with the crayfish, and that is in this new taco stuff.
Oh, they say it's crayfish sauce.
I don't know.
What does that mean? Is it sauce you put on crayfish, or is it a sauce made out of crayfish?
No, it's kind of the sauce you put on. It's got Szechuan peppercorn, fennel, something, other ingredients. It's a savory and intriguing taste.
That's their words.
Those
are not our words right there. So, oh gosh, I don't know. Would you eat it?
Again, I feel like I should like crayfish, but I just don't. But it depends on the sauce. They were trying it at Taco Bell, the headquarters, and people did seem to enjoy it.
What about a fish taco?
Yes, I love fish tacos.
Oh, really? Okay.
Love.
Okay, well, then you're willing to have tacos of the sea.
Yeah.
So
It's the crayfish part or the spices. We'll see.
You know what, though? You always love Asian food. I bet
I do enjoy it.
I bet this is you.
So it's going to be out in August for Taco Bell in Asia. And then for the United States, they're not sure, but maybe one day it would come out.
Mm-hmm. I look at this and I hear the voice of my stepmom. She was a lovely woman who was so supportive of my picky eating habits. And
I don't know if I believe you or not.
And one of the things that she would say is, "You're not hungry enough. If you were hungry enough, you'd eat it." Well, let me tell you what. I'd have to be mighty hungry.
Really hungry?
I'd have to be mighty hungry to want to eat this crustacean taco.
So Taco Bell Asia is also carrying a few other items, including the Cheesy Taco Melt, which is a taco sandwich. That'll be available in November in Korea. A Volcano Naked Chicken Taco, which is a spicier version.
Which is a taco you have to eat naked.
And
that's
that
where
will
its
be
name comes
also
from.
in Korea, and that is next month. So a few other things if you're over there.
Well, you know what? I don't want any of those things, but I would take. This is how you know I'm hungry. I would eat a Doritos Locos taco right now.
That does sound good. Just you don't want all the fish stuff.
No. I mean, it sounds good, and it also sounds like I hate myself, but
isn't that one trip to taco stuff all the time?
That's what it means when you eat a Taco Bell.
Recycling paper is like planting a tree. Recycling the RIOT is like burning down the rainforest.
We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
It's the worst of the RIOT on RadioU.
Nikki, do you have any credit cards?
I have one that I use.
I think I have two. They're both airline cards. And, I'm getting all those points.
Yeah, I use the Costco one.
I'm really changing the world with all my points. You just wouldn't believe it. Oh, my gosh.
Maybe you should look and funnel that into another one where you get more money back.
Maybe I should. I should also really start looking at, what the current limit is on those, because I only have until Friday to use them. Because, for those of you that haven't heard, it looks like the end of the world on Friday.
Oh, again? We're having another one?
So here's
the last one. I feel like we didn't find out till after. There wasn't enough press concerning it.
Well, don't worry. We've got a blood moon coming on Friday, and people have done math and studied this and that, and they're like, "Yeah, this is definitely it."
Okay, like, so we can spend today for lunch. Let's go big.
Go big. I'm in. Let's go to Texas Day, Brazil, and eat all that meat.
Ooh,
I still haven't been there. I need to eat all that meat.
They do have a good lunch special, which is cheaper,
okay.
So we can spend more somewhere else.
Bring the fatted calf. No, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
I'll have all of it. Thank you.
Walk it by the table.
Okay, so this Friday, the world ends. The question that I want to ask sometimes when people are like, the world ends, I'm like, well, what do you mean by ending? Do you mean that all of existence ceases?
Completely?
Like somebody turned off a TV and it's just done?
Or is it how we live our world now is going to change because bad things really are starting to happen?
Massive impact on society. Like, is it going to take a while? Like, am I going to die a fiery death, a watery death?
I like to
a
plan.
Smoke death? Like, is it going to be something like that? Or is it like, oh, yeah, the world ends because... what? Like, what is it that's going to happen? Like, an ancient prophecy takes place and we're all swallowed whole by the whatever?
Is there a terrible evil that gets unleashed?
Does the universe continue, but the core of the planet explodes and, like, Earth is...
Is this like the Godzilla trailer where now that we have to unleash monsters?
We have to... The Titans, the rightful rulers of the world... I don't know. And it's not specific.
It's not. You just don't know.
You don't know what they mean by that. So that's where I find myself. When
what do you think we should wear? Should I wear sneakers in case I have to run?
I'll tell you this right now.
Or flip-flops fine still?
I think the answer is and will always be layers.
Layers?
Well,
I'm going to put on a pair of comfy pants, too, because if it ends, I want to be comfortable.
Atmospheric conditions, they can be very hard to predict what's going to be happening. And if, like, you're on a chunk that gets thrown out into space, how long is the atmosphere going to stay on it?
I don't know.
Do we truly understand the way gravity works? I don't know.
Or will Friday just be Friday?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think if it's going to be the end of the world, I'm probably going to leave early. Just a heads up.
just in case everybody needs to know.
I'll come in and do the show.
Well, Mission Impossible's out. You wanted to see The Equalizer. Like, we got plans.
Well, maybe we spend the rest of the Friday at a theater. You know, it's like the world's going to end. Yes, you should.
And I am getting it.
Well, I'm getting pretzels with the what do you call it? The
cheese sauce,
the cheese dip that makes me want to die. Because I'm going to die anyway.
Might as well get sick.
Might as well enjoy the flavor on the way out.
Well, let me plan that for Friday then. We'll just pick a good time.
Or do you think maybe a blood moon is just that's like a sign that you and I are going to go to the theater and we are going to get massively sick on the food we buy.
And then we just would have wished that we would have died.
And we would be like, I feel like my world is ending. The prophecy is coming true. It's happening.
It has been fulfilled.
I feel the blood moon is here.
The greatest evil
It is visited upon my house. A curse on both our houses.
It's a plague.
I have become worm food.
Well, then they wouldn't be lying. Friday, the world might just end for us.
Could just be us. Man, self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
We made it happen.
Don't want to talk to the riot? We completely understand. Text instead. 877-2-RADIO-U.
Happy Christmas in July, everybody. Let's talk Home Alone. Are you guys having a Christmas in July Home Alone party? Watch Home Alone 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a
How
fifth?
many are there?
I don't know. Maybe you'd have to do a little digging on that.
I mean, the important one is still the first one that a lot of people watch around Christmas because they air it everywhere.
Yes, as a matter of fact, they do. So here's the deal. A lot of people have wondered, how is it that Kevin had a stay-at-home mom, 5 siblings, and a dad that was able to afford that house and send them all to France? Well, I guess his brother was paying for the France trip, but, whatever. So there's a theory that started on Reddit but is making the rounds.
And again, Home Alone theories have always been around. There's a lot of them.
there
And people
are.
have a lot of fun with them.
But a lot of people, well, this one person in particular has put the idea out that Kevin's dad is in the mob.
Really?
And so here's the idea that if you look at his interaction with Joe Pesci at the beginning of the movie, who's dressed as a cop. Cop comes to the house, and the first thing he asks him is, hey, am I under arrest or something?
Yeah, I guess that also is just a joke.
What?
It's also just a joke.
What do you...
Like if a cop comes up, you haven't obviously done anything wrong. That's how you cope with it.
Nikki, Home Alone is not a comedy.
It's a serious movie.
The idea that Kevin's dad could be joking
is not
seems
right.
a little far-reaching. So if we could focus, please.
What else are they saying?
He says that, actually, the theory goes kind of deep. He also says that the only way that Kevin's dad, Peter, we talked about the money thing. Also, the reason that the Wet Bandits know that his house is the best house on the block is that they already have criminal connections and they know that his house would be the richest one.
I guess I always thought because it looked like it was the biggest one whenever they showed the houses in the movies.
Let's see. What else did we get?
I don't know about this theory.
Also, they think that Kevin has murderous intent. So all of the little stuff he sets up in the house, it's not actually there just for comic mischief. Kevin is trying to kill the 2 guys that are coming against the house, and that's something that he would have learned from his dad.
That's very dark. That one just turned really, really dark.
Yeah, I mean, also he says Kevin's mom is a cold, emotionally dead woman who says terrible things to his 8-year-old. Buzz is a psychopath who is probably set up to follow in his dad's footsteps.
I'm going to say pass on this theory. Don't know if it really seems right.
Like, you're not feeling it at all?
I don't think so.
Kevin's dad, I think the movies make more sense with Kevin's dad and the mom. That's why he's not that concerned about getting back.
True.
Because he knows that his mob brothers are watching the house.
Everything will be fine.
It's no big deal. We can just stay. Nobody's going to bother Kevin because everybody knows you do not mess with that house.
Tell you what, you got a free time thing come like for this weekend or something? If you rewatch it with that in mind or find the other Home Alone theories, read some of them and then watch it. Knowing all that, it'll change probably how you experience the movie.
Well, it is Christmas in July, so it seems a gooder time as any to go back and revisit some Christmas movies.
You're listening to the worst of the riot.
Today sucks.
Radio U.
And you thought it was just a... Wait, what day is today?
Today's Wednesday.
Just a Wednesday. What you don't know is that Warner Brothers World has opened. It is the largest indoor theme park in the world.
Warner Brothers World?
Warner Brothers World.
Where is this at?
You're like, why haven't I heard about it? It's in Abu Dhabi.
They tend to like to go for those records.
They say that it cost about $1 billion to build Warner Brothers World. It's really strange to look at the pictures.
It's so odd.
Because it is inside.
Yeah, it feels like if you've ever gone to a movie studio or a TV studio for something and, or like, what was that movie with
Jim Carrey?
The Truman
Show.
The one where the sky's like painted and it looks real, but then it's not. It's similar to that.
That's exactly it. Like they have a false sky in there to make it feel like you're outside, but you're not. That's actually great for me because I'm always getting a sunburn anyway. So
you prefer to be inside. Well, it's hot there, so they got to keep it inside.
It is hot there. It is 1.65 million square feet, and it's divided up into 6 different areas indoors there, including Bedrock from the Flintstones and Batman's Gotham City.
You've also got Cartoon Junction, Yosemite Sam's, none of this sounds cool, Dynamite Gulch, and then Metropolis for Superman.
There's a Metropolis?
There's a Metropolis. That's one of the themed park areas.
Oh, I want to go there.
This does not look fun at all. I don't know why, but it doesn't.
That looks like the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, it has Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Cyborg, Aquaman, all these different characters.
I would like that very much.
Does this look fun to you? Maybe it's because it is inside, and maybe there you're just more used to, well, everything has to be inside, but I feel like this doesn't feel like something's off. It feels like it's weird.
When I look at it, I think that's why it looks off.
Because there is a ceiling.
And I also think there are all these photos of it that Nikki and I are looking into, and I feel like the photos are not very good.
Sure. The coloring is wrong.
There's something about the color that seems very washed out, and I think that washed out color actually is because it's indoors. And I know what you're thinking. That would actually be more likely to be outdoors because, no.
No.
If you saw the photos, it would make some sense to you. But there are things there that look interesting to me, but not enough for me to, but if I was incredibly rich, flying around the world wouldn't be that big of a deal.
So if you're interested in going to Abu Dhabi, you could also go next to the Warner Brothers World, where this island is. It's next to the Ferrari World theme park, too, which is Abu Dhabi's Formula One racetrack, and there's a mall and a water park with that.
Huh. Well, sure. While I'm there.
I don't think we have any plans any time in the future, but it's something that's there.
While I'm there, I'll stop it. No, you know what? This looks kind of cool. I want to walk into, I'll have to say, I either want to walk into or get my picture taken in front of the Hall of Justice.
That's what you want?
That's kind of cool.
Well,
I'm embarrassed to tell you. It's kind of cool.
They're hoping that, just like you said, like you have a character that you like, that the Warner Brothers brand will bring people theme parks in the Emirates area, including in Dubai. One of the Dubai parks lost $300 million last year just with the lack of tourism.
Well, it cost $1 billion to build, so I feel like it's going to take a while before they earn their money back.
Well, they're losing a lot of money.
Friends by Friends Coke Freestyle Machines. We're all friends, right? It's the Riot on Radio U.
Now, I told you I had a job for Nikki that she could. I feel like, Nikki, this is a turnkey job for you.
Is this one perfect? I can just move right. I love you guys, but one day I'll have to move into something else. What will it be?
Okay, so the Hucks family farm.
Yeah.
They raise therapeutic goats.
Yeah.
For goat meditation and goat yoga.
Uh-huh.
And so what they need is people to come and cuddle the goats.
Oh, now that sounds fun.
And so that's the idea. They're going to be basically you have to nurture them alongside their mothers so they become incredibly socialized with humans.
So that way they're good for the meditation and the yoga goat stuff later. They can actually interact with us.
Mm-hmm. So what you've got to do is you've got to start cuddling with them when they're babies. And you've got to cuddle with them all the way up until it's time for them to go into their job.
May I ask how much this would pay? Are they saying?
I do not currently have a dollar amount.
A salary. And I know that's rude to ask in the beginning because it shouldn't be about that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if that's the job description, they might not be paying the most because they're going to really be banking on the fact that you would like to spend time cuddling this animal.
Okay.
Instead of getting a salary.
Yeah, sure. So... I don't know.
I told you goats and I'm sure if it was a baby goat, I would be more attached, but they're not quite the farm animal that I gravitate towards.
I know, but, if you I think that given the proper circumstances, Nikki, you could truly learn to set aside your prejudices.
Make a difference.
And you could love a baby goat.
It's got to be enough to live on, though. I still got to get paid.
Oh, you're going to eat the goat?
No, I need to get paid. They have to pay me.
Because when you said I had to be able to live on it.
No, I'm not going to eat the goat. That would be really mean.
I got confused there. Nikki raises the baby goat. It learns to trust her. And then
well, it's a circle of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad fact of that.
It's true. So, well, but properly raising the goat, you can get milk, you can get cheese, then eventually you get steaks. Maybe a burger. I don't know.
Can you do that with goat meat? I know people eat goat meat, but
you know what, Nikki? You can.
I don't know how.
You can eat anything. Just about.
Eventually, over time, it's fine.
We like to, as a society, pretend we're not from the earth, but we are. We'd pretty much eat whatever.
And goats are included in that.
With virtual reality, the possibilities are endless. It gives us the ability to live out any of our wildest dreams. So maybe we can use it to pretend the riot doesn't exist. The Riot on Radio U.
They're not that bad means that they are that bad.
This is The Riot on Radio U.
It is The Riot on Radio U, 877-2-RADIO-U. Remember, you can also hit us up at riot.radiou.com.
That's right.
We were talking about minutes ago a job that we felt like would have been really good for Nikki, and that was the goat cuddler at a farm where they're looking for people to come and help socialize goats.
And do not be embarrassed. You can always email us right at RadioU.com if you want us to send you the link because you want to secretly find out details about going for that job. It's not going to make me feel sad if if someone takes that job from me.
Okay. Well,
so we can share.
Since we found a job for you, it's time to find a job for me. It looks like I would do well at the California Department of Motor Vehicles.
You want to work there? Oh, that seems like a stressful environment.
Does it?
No one there likes you, meaning like they would like you, but the job, the person in the position.
All right. Well, here's what I found is there was a woman who worked there whose name I do not have. But it turns out that according to this report, and they've done some digging, they think she was sleeping about 3 hours a day at her desk.
Really?
Now that
is a job.
Sounds like a job that I could really do.
How could she do that without getting caught?
How does anybody? Okay, I'm not going to say who, but I have a friend of mine that has a government job.
Yeah.
And has basically told me multiple times that the amount of just flat out abuse that takes place
of it
is unreal. He was like, you would just be shocked. And he said, and it's not just, he said, and the regulations are such that even if you would complain, like, hey, I saw so-and-so doing this, it's like, yeah, you can't really do anything about it. And it's like, it's one of those things you're like, no, that's just a cliche. That's not real. I don't know. Again, I'm sure it depends on what department you work in and all that kind of stuff. So I can't make a sweeping statement. But I've got a friend that has told me basically
people take advantage of it.
He works a night shift and he knows people that basically just come in, clock in, and sleep all night and clock out and go home.
I was walking past one of the cell phone kiosk setups yesterday.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guy was watching a movie on his phone while he was there working, trying to sell other people phones. And I just looked at him. I was like, wow, you're watching a movie while you get to work. But, I mean, people try anything.
So one of the ways they ended up catching her was that she was a key data operator, which part of that was data entry. She was supposed to be processing about 500 documents a day. She was processing around 200.
So they could notice a lack of actual work being done.
And so her supervisors were aware there was an issue, but they underestimated the amount of time she was sleeping, and they didn't properly follow up on.
So now, did you say, I'm sorry, has she been fired, or can you fire one when it comes to the job, or there's an opening, or she's in trouble?
Yeah, like she's in trouble.
I guess sometimes, when we read about teacher jobs,
I don't know. I don't know if they fired her. They probably just reassigned her to a sleep study.
There's certain jobs where we hear about problems and people are like, well, we didn't actually you can't fire them very easily. So I wasn't sure if that job counts too.
Yeah, I don't know, but it looks like here.
Now you don't want to work at the Department of Motor Vehicles though because now they're going to be on the lookout. They're going to be extra vigilant to look for that.
Oh, here you go. They couldn't fire her because it hadn't been properly documented.
But now going forward,
they're probably documenting it now. But there's got to be a way. There has to be a way. Because Like, you guys have never been upstairs, but like I have 2 desks. I've got an outside desk where everybody is and then like an inside desk.
Yeah.
You can't really see in that door. And so the thing that I've been thinking is that I turn the lights on and I turn some music up.
Yeah.
So it'll look like I'm doing something. But like I could like stick my head under my desk and you'd think I was in the bathroom or something. Like, I don't see him. He must be busy.
You could probably just sit up and prop your hands on the keyboard and just close your eyes.
And turn my back to the door, kind of.
And then if someone came in, you'd hear them and it would wake you up.
You know what?
And as long as you weren't like they could tell you were sleeping.
But if I did that, then I would be like, I'm just kidding. How's it going?
So, I mean, it seems like the perfect plan.
I'm going to get back to you on this, but I may not need to switch jobs. I may just need to do a much worse job at the one I have now.
What you're currently doing, you can rework this. We can make this work. You don't have to leave.
You know what? Good call, everybody. Thanks.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
Butter sculpting is a part of life.